She said, "I'm keeping the house, the car, and the dog in the divorce." I replied, "Take them." What her lawyer didn't tell her was that I'd already put everything in my mother's name 6 months ago. The judge's face when he read the deed? Absolutely priceless. I'm 52, male, and I'm sitting here with a beer, still processing what went down in court today. My soon-to-be ex-wife, Vanessa, 49, thought she had me cornered. Spoiler alert, she didn't. We've been married for 11 years. It's the second marriage for both of us. No kids together. I have 2 grown daughters from my first marriage. She has a son who's 26 and hasn't spoken to either of us in years. About 6 months ago, things started to get weird. Vanessa began working late all the time. Her book club suddenly started meeting 3 times a week. She password protected her phone for the first time ever. Classic signs, right? But honestly, I was too tired to care much. My construction business keeps me busy, and after 11 years, I figured maybe we'd just drifted apart. Then came the text. Middle of a Tuesday. I was on a job site. "Vanessa, don't bother coming home tonight. Stay at a hotel. I need space." Me. "What's going on, Vanessa?" Her. "I'll explain when I'm ready. Just give me the house for a few days." Weird, but whatever. I went to a motel. Cost me $89 a night. 3 days later, she texted again. "We need to talk. Come home at 6 o'clock." So I showed up right at 6 o'clock. She was sitting at the kitchen table with her sister Monica and some smug-looking guy in a cheap suit. "This is Dennis, my lawyer," Vanessa announced. No hello, no small talk. Dennis slid a folder across the table. "Mr. Garrett, your wife is filing for divorce. We wanted to discuss the asset division before things get messy." I just stared at them. "You brought your lawyer to our house." Vanessa crossed her arms. "I'm keeping the house, the Lexus, and Brutus. You can have your truck and your tools. That seems fair." Brutus is our German Shepherd. Best dog I've ever had. "Fair," I said slowly. Dennis jumped in. "Mrs. Garrett has been the primary homemaker during your marriage. She works part-time at a boutique," I interrupted. 20 hours a week. "I paid for this house, that car, everything." Dennis said, "Oregon is a no-fault state, Mr. Garrett. Assets acquired during marriage are typically divided equitably." "I know how it works," I said, looking straight at Vanessa. "You seriously want to take everything?" She gave this satisfied little smile. "I deserve it after putting up with you for 11 years. Monica nodded along like a bobblehead. I stood up. "Okay." Everyone looked confused. "Okay." Vanessa repeated. "Yeah, keep it. File your papers. I'll respond through my lawyer." Dennis actually looked disappointed. Probably wanted a big fight to bill hours. I left the house, drove to my buddy Travis's place, and told him everything over a 12-pack. "Man, that's cold," Travis said. "You just gonna let her have it all?" I smiled. "Nope. See, 6 months ago, when Vanessa started acting shady, I wasn't just ignoring it, I was planning. I called my mom, who's 73 and sharp as hell, and had a long conversation about protecting assets. "You think she's cheating?" Mom asked. "Either that, or planning something. Her behavior's off." "What do you need?" That's my mom. No drama, just solutions. We met with her estate lawyer, Howard, who's been handling her stuff for years. I explained everything. Howard thought for a minute. "Your mother could purchase the assets from you at fair market value, a legal sale between family members, then lease them back to you for nominal fees. Would that hold up if it's done properly, with real money changing hands and proper documentation?" I asked. "Absolutely," Howard said. So that's what we did. The house sold to Mom for $340,000, exactly what I paid for it 3 years ago. She wired me the money from her retirement accounts. I immediately put it into a separate account Vanessa didn't know about. Then Mom leased the house back to me for $1 a month. All legal. All documented. The Lexus? Sold to Mom for $28,000. She loaned it back to Vanessa to drive. No paperwork though, just a verbal agreement. I kept my work truck. It was always in my business name anyway. It took about 2 months to get everything transferred, recorded, and notarized. Howard made sure every I was dotted and every T crossed. Cost me about $4,000 in legal and filing fees. Best money I ever spent. Holy hell. The responses to my first post. Yes, it's real. Yes, I really did it. And yes, it gets better. 3 days after that kitchen table ambush, I got a letter from Dennis. Standard divorce petition. Vanessa was asking for the house, valued at $425,000. She'd even had it appraised, apparently. The Lexus, half my business assets, spousal support of $3,000 per month, Brutus, and for me to pay her legal fees. I called my lawyer, Rita. She's been handling my business stuff for years. Tough lady. Doesn't take crap from anyone. She wants what? Rita actually laughed. Everything plus monthly payments? Well, good luck to her. Send me Dennis's contact info. Let's respond. Rita's response was a masterpiece. Basically said, sure, she can have the house and car. They're not mine to give. She included copies of the sale documents to my mother. Offered to split the checking account balance, about $8,000, and stated that my business stays 100% mine since Vanessa had zero involvement. As for spousal support, Rita argued Vanessa works, has no disability, and can support herself. We'd consider short-term rehabilitative support, maybe $500 a month for a year. But when it came to Brutus, that's where I drew the line. He was registered to me, vet records in my name, and I paid for everything. No way she was getting him. Dennis called Rita. I was on speakerphone. Your client transferred assets out of marital property. Dennis started. That's going to look really bad to a judge. My client sold assets to his mother 6 months before divorce papers were filed. Rita shot back. Fair market value. Properly documented. When exactly was he supposed to know his wife would file for divorce? The timing is suspicious. Prove it, Rita said. Prove he knew 6 months in advance. I'll wait. Silence from Dennis. Thought so, Rita continued. My client is willing to split liquid assets 50/50ths. That's generous. But the house and car aren't his to split. He doesn't own them. More silence. I'll need to discuss this with my client, Dennis finally said. You do that, Rita replied, then hung up and grinned at me. This is going to be fun. 2 days later, Vanessa started blowing up my phone. You transferred the house to your mother? Are you kidding me? Sold it 6 months ago. Legal sale. This is fraud. You can't just hide assets. I didn't hide anything. It's public record. You could have checked anytime. My lawyer says we can challenge this. Your lawyer's welcome to try. She hung up. 10 minutes later, she called again. At least give me the car. I need it for work. Car belongs to my mom too. But tell you what, she was lending it to you before. She's willing to keep doing that until you get your own vehicle. Generous of her. Honestly, this is unbelievable. You planned this? Yep. Hung up. Again. Then came the really fun part. Monica, Vanessa's sister, started messaging me on Facebook. Long rants about how I was a manipulative, controlling, abusive husband. How I trapped Vanessa. How she was going to make sure everyone knew what kind of person I was. Cool story, I replied. Then blocked her. But Monica wasn't done. She posted on Facebook, tagging like 30 people we both knew. My sister Vanessa is divorcing her horrible husband who transferred all their assets to his mother to hide them in the divorce. Please share so everyone knows what kind of snake Garrett is. My phone started buzzing nonstop, friends asking what was going on, family members confused. I made one post in response. For anyone wondering, I sold some assets to my mother 6 months ago in a legal transaction. Divorce was filed last week. Timeline speaks for itself. If people want to believe I'm psychic and knew about a divorce 6 months before papers were filed, that's on them. I posted screenshots of the sale dates and the divorce filing date. Let the evidence speak for itself. About half our mutual friends reached out to apologize for believing Monica. The other half didn't care. They believed what they wanted. Fine by me. I'm not interested in keeping friends who don't ask questions. Travis thought the whole thing was hilarious. Dude, you actually outmaneuvered her. That's legendary. Just protecting what's mine, man, I said. Meanwhile, Brutus was with me at Mom's house. Vanessa kept demanding I bring him back, saying he was stressed without her. Dog seems fine to me, I texted back. I texted her back with a photo of Brutus chewing on a new bone, tail wagging happily. She didn't respond to that. 3 weeks later, Vanessa went nuclear, like absolutely unhinged. First, she tried to get back into the house. My house. Well, technically my mom's house, but still. I'd already changed the locks after that lawyer stunt. Seemed obvious she might try something. Sure enough, 2 a.m. on a Saturday my phone rings. It's the alarm company. Mr. Garrett, we have a breach at your residence. Police are being dispatched. I jumped in my truck and headed over. Cops were already there when I arrived. And there's Vanessa, standing in the driveway, mascara running down her face, yelling at the officers. This is my house. He can't lock me out of my house. One of the officers looked at me. You the homeowner, sir? My mother is, I said. I'm the legal tenant. She's my soon-to-be ex-wife who hasn't lived here in 3 weeks. I showed them the lease agreement and Mom's deed. The cop nodded. Ma'am, you need to leave the property. I live here, she yelled. Not according to these documents, he replied. She tried to argue more, but they shut her down, even threatened to arrest her for trespassing if she didn't leave. She finally left, screaming about how this wasn't over. The next morning, I called Mom to update her. Good Lord, Mom said. She's really lost it. Yeah, I sighed. Thanks again for buying the house. Worth every penny, she said. That's what mothers are for, honey. Then came the workplace drama. I run a mid-sized construction company. About 15 employees, good contracts, steady income. I'm on job sites most days, in the office the rest. Got a call from my office manager, Denise. Boss, there's a woman here demanding to see the books. Says she's your wife. Tell her she can make an appointment with Rita, my lawyer. I said. She has no right to company records. Apparently, Vanessa made a huge scene. Told Denise I was hiding money, demanded to see profit and loss statements. Denise, bless her, called the cops. Vanessa left before they arrived. But a few days later, I got a letter from the Oregon Department of Revenue. Someone had reported my business for potential tax fraud. Anonymous tip. Required an audit. Gee, I wonder who could have done that. I called my accountant, Donald. We clean, Garrett, he said. I've done your books for 8 years. You're cleaner than a hospital. This is harassment. I know, I told him. Can you handle the audit? Already on it, he said. We'll be fine. It'll cost you some time and maybe $2,000 in accounting fees. But there's nothing to find. Vanessa's next trick was even better. She filed for a restraining order. She claimed I was harassing and threatening her. Said I'd shown up at her apartment at midnight, drunk and violent. Complete fiction. I'd never even been to her new apartment. Didn't even know where it was. Court date for the temporary restraining order came up. Rita and I showed up. Vanessa was there with Dennis. The judge reviewed her petition. Mrs. Garrett, you claim your husband showed up at your residence on April 8th at midnight? Yes, Your Honor, she said. He was banging on my door yelling. Mr. Garrett, where were you on April 8th at midnight? The judge asked. Rita slid a stack of papers across the table. Your Honor, my client was in Bend at a construction industry conference. Here's his hotel receipt, his conference badge, and a signed affidavit from 3 colleagues who were with him that entire evening. They had dinner until 11 p.m., then drinks at the hotel bar until 1:30 a.m. All documented. The judge looked at Vanessa, his expression flat and unimpressed. Mrs. Garrett, filing a false restraining order is a serious matter. I must have gotten confused about the date, she stammered. Confused, the judge repeated, and he didn't sound like he believed her. Petition denied. Court will note the attempted filing for the divorce proceedings. Outside the courthouse, Vanessa and Monica cornered me in the parking lot. You smug jerk, Monica hissed. You think you're so smart. Honestly? Yeah, I said. Kind of. Vanessa deserved that house, Monica shot back. She picked out the countertops. She planted the garden. She can buy her own house with her own money, I said. Novel concept. Vanessa jumped in. The judge is going to see through this. You'll have to give me half of everything. Half of what? I said. Vanessa, I don't own a house. I don't own that Lexus. I've got my truck, my tools, and my business. Pick which half of the truck you want, I guess. Just then, Dennis pulled up in his Kia. Ladies, let's not engage. They left. I sat in my truck for a minute, hands shaking, not from fear, but from anger. The restraining order thing had crossed a line. That could have screwed up my contractor's licenses, my reputation, everything. Rita noticed. You okay? Yeah, I said quietly. Just pissed. Good, she said. Channel that. Discoveries next week. Let's bury her. Court day. 6 weeks after Vanessa's lawyer ambush, we finally had the first real court date. Not the final hearing, just preliminary stuff. Asset division, temporary support, all that. Got to the courthouse at 8:30 a.m. Rita was already there, looking sharp in a navy suit. Howard, Mom's lawyer, was there too, ready to testify about the asset sale if needed. Vanessa showed up 10 minutes late with Dennis. She was dressed like she was going to a funeral. Black dress, minimal makeup, playing the victim card hard. We went before Judge Pacheco. He's been a family. Court judge for 20 years, seen everything, no patience for games. Dennis started strong. Laid out Vanessa's position, that I'd fraudulently transferred assets to avoid splitting them, that she was entitled to half the value of the house and car, and that she needed $3,000 monthly support because she'd given up career opportunities to support my business. Total lie. She'd worked at the same boutique part-time for 9 years, by choice. Rita let him finish, then stood up. Your Honor, I have several exhibits. First, the deed showing my client purchased the residence 3 years ago solely in his name. Oregon is not a community property state. Second, the bill of sale showing he sold said residence to his mother 6 months ago for fair market value. Third, bank records showing the funds transfer. Fourth, the lease agreement between my client and his mother for said residence. All legal, all documented, all months before any divorce filing. She slid the stack across to the judge. He started reading. And the vehicle? Judge Pacheco asked. Same situation, Your Honor, Rita said. Sold to his mother. Fair market value. Properly titled. Mrs. Garrett has been driving it since as a courtesy from his mother, but it's not a marital asset. Dennis jumped in. Your Honor, the timing is clearly suspicious. Suspicious isn't a legal, counselor, the judge said mildly. Unless you have evidence Mr. Garrett knew about an impending divorce 6 months ago. The marriage was clearly troubled. Was your client planning to file 6 months ago? Dennis hesitated. Well, then how would Mr. Garrett have known? The judge cut him off. He flipped through more pages. These documents look proper. Sale prices appear to be fair market value, not artificially low. This wasn't a gift or a sham transfer. He looked at Vanessa. Mrs. Garrett, did you know about these sales when they occurred? Vanessa glanced nervously at Dennis. I knew his mother was helping him with something. I didn't know what. Did you ask? No. Did you review any financial documents in the past 6 months? I trusted him to handle it. Judge Pacheco made a note. So you were aware he was conducting financial transactions with his mother, but chose not to inquire about the details. That's not fraud, Mrs. Garrett. That's you not paying attention to your own finances. Dennis tried to recover. Your Honor, regardless of the asset situation, Mrs. Garrett still needs spousal support. On what basis? The judge asked. She's 49, healthy, employed. What prevents her from increasing her work hours? She was the primary homemaker for 11 years, Dennis said. The judge looked skeptical. She works 20 hours a week, and they have no minor children. What exactly was she maintaining? Vanessa's face turned red. Monica, sitting in the gallery, looked ready to explode. Rita spoke up. Your Honor, my client is willing to offer rehabilitative spousal support, $600 a month for 1 year. That's more than fair given Mrs. Garrett's employment, earning capacity, and assets. Split the joint checking account, currently $8,200. Each party keeps their own vehicles. She has a leased Lexus she's driving. He has his work truck. His business remains his sole property, as she has no involvement in it. He keeps the dog, as he's the registered owner. Your Honor, my client should get the house value, Dennis said quickly. Counselor, the judge said, I've reviewed these documents. The house isn't a marital asset. It belongs to Mr. Garrett's mother. Unless you have evidence this was a fraudulent transfer. And I mean actual evidence, not speculation. I'm not awarding your client something that doesn't belong to her husband. Judge Pacheco looked back at his papers. Then he actually smiled, just a little. This is actually pretty clever, mister. The judge leaned back slightly, a faint smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. Mr. Garrett, he said, unorthodox, but legal. You saw trouble coming and protected yourself within the law. Your wife is learning an expensive lesson about paying attention to family finances. He made his ruling right there in court. The joint account, split 50-50. I keep Brutus. No house, no car awarded to Vanessa, since technically they weren't mine. Spousal support set at $600 a month for 12 months. Each of us would pay our own legal fees. Dennis tried one last objection. Your Honor, this leaves my client with almost nothing. The judge didn't even look up. Your client has a job, a vehicle to drive, and $4,100 from the checking account, plus temporary support. She'll be fine. This is what happens when you assume assets will just be there when you need them. Petition granted as modified. Next case. We stood up. Vanessa was crying, not the sad kind, but the furious, red-eyed kind. Outside the courtroom, Monica lost it. That judge is corrupt. We're appealing. Dennis looked exhausted. Mrs. Garrett, I advised you when we started that these asset transfers might be legally sound. You said we could fight it, she snapped. I said we could try, he corrected quietly. There's a difference. Vanessa spun on me. You planned this. You planned all of this. Yep. You manipulative bastard. Nope. Just a guy who saw his wife acting shady and decided to protect himself. Worked out pretty well. Rita stepped in before things got uglier and guided me out toward her car. Once we were inside, I finally let myself exhale. That went better than expected, I said. Judge Pacheco doesn't tolerate nonsense, Rita replied. He could tell exactly what she was trying to do. You think they'll appeal? They can try, she said with a shrug. It won't go anywhere. The asset transfers are solid. I called Mom on the drive home. Hey, we won. Of course you did, honey, she said. That house is mine, bought and paid for. Thanks, Mom. For everything. Come over for dinner Sunday. Bring Brutus. Will do. The divorce was finalized 8 weeks later. There's a standard cooling-off period. Then the final paperwork. Vanessa didn't even show up to the final hearing. Dennis appeared alone and confirmed she'd accepted the terms. Judge Pacheco signed off. Just like that, 11 years, done. Outside the courthouse, Rita shook my hand. Pleasure working with you, Garrett. You made my job easy by being paranoid 6 months early. By being smart, I said. Exactly. Wish more clients were like you. The spousal support kicked in. $600 a month, automatically deposited. Fine. 12 payments total. I could live with that. Vanessa moved about 2 hours away a month after the divorce was finalized. Heard through mutual friends, she was living with some guy she met online. Guess that explained the book club. Monica blocked me on all social media. No loss there. 3 months post-divorce, I got a call from Mom's lawyer, Howard. Garrett, I need to discuss something. Your mother wants to sell the house back to you. Really, her retirement portfolio took a hit with the market. She wants to move some assets around. She'll sell it to you for what she paid, $340,000. You already have the cash since that's what you originally paid her, he added. That works. Tell her I'll buy it. So Mom sold me my house back. The transfer took 2 weeks. $340,000 from my separate account to hers. The house was mine again. Market. Value by then? About $460,000. I'd basically parked my money safely in Mom's name while everything was blowing up. She used it for her own investments, then I bought it back after everything appreciated. And there wasn't a single thing Vanessa could do about it because the divorce was already final. When I told my buddy Travis, he nearly fell over laughing. Dude, you're my hero. The business audit wrapped up soon after. Donald, my accountant, had been right. They found nothing because there was nothing to find. It cost me $2,100 in accounting fees. Just another one of Vanessa's petty revenge attempts that went nowhere. Brutus was thriving. I built him a new dog run in the backyard. More space, more sunshine. Happy dog, happy life. As for me, it's a weird feeling. Not sadness. The marriage had been dead long before the divorce. It was more like relief. For years, I'd felt something off with Vanessa. The entitlement, the way she expected me to fund her life forever, the total lack of partnership. The divorce just confirmed what my gut had known all along. I did lose a few friends. People who thought I was cold for protecting my assets. Others who believed Monica's Facebook rants. Whatever. Better to know who's real. My daughters called after it all settled. Neither of them ever liked Vanessa. Dad, we're proud of you for standing up for yourself, my oldest said. I just did what needed doing, I told her. Still, she said, most guys would have just rolled over. Maybe, I said. But I've spent 20 years in construction. You learn to plan ahead, anticipate problems, protect yourself. This was just applying those skills to life. Then came the postcard. No return address. Postmarked from 2 states away. Vanessa's handwriting. You won. Hope you're happy. I smiled reading it. I am, actually. Not in a vindictive way, just peaceful. The house is mine again. The dog's with me. My business is solid. Mom's portfolio is healthy. Vanessa chose to blow up our marriage. She chose to bring a lawyer to ambush me. She chose to assume she could take whatever she wanted. I just chose to be prepared. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's just making sure you don't get screwed over by someone else's entitlement. It's been half a year since the divorce was finalized. Life's back to normal, mostly. Work's busy. Picked up 2 new commercial contracts. Brutus is fat and happy. The house is quiet, but in a good way. The spousal support ended 2 weeks ago. Final payment processed. Done. Vanessa's completely out of my life now. Heard through the grapevine she split with the online boyfriend after 4 months. Apparently, he wasn't as financially generous as she expected. Shocking. She's back working at a different boutique, full-time now, 40 hours a week. Guess she realized she actually needed an income once there wasn't a husband to subsidize her lifestyle. The Lexus got repossessed. Mom had let her keep driving it after the divorce as a courtesy, but Vanessa never made a single lease payment once I stopped covering them. Mom gave her 90 days notice. She ignored it. The car went back to the dealership. Monica sent me one last message through a mutual friend. Tell Garrett we know what he did. Karma will get him. I told the friend to reply. Karma already did its thing. Vanessa's living paycheck to paycheck in a studio apartment while I'm still here, in my house, with my dog and my business. Seems fair. Mom's doing great. Her investments bounce back. She even bought herself a new car, a nice Cadillac. She laughed at dinner and said, helping you was the smartest financial move I made all year. You gave me $340,000 to play with for free. I made an 8% return in 6 months. Then sold it back to you for the same price while the house appreciated. We both won. You're a genius, Mom, I said. No, you are, for thinking of it. Travis got engaged recently. I'm his best man. His fiancée asked if I'd ever date again. Maybe eventually, I said. No rush. You're not bitter about Vanessa, she asked. Nah, I said. She showed me who she was. I dealt with it. Now I'm good. And I am. The divorce cost me about $12,000 in legal fees, $2,100 in audit fees, and 12 months of $600 support payments. Call it $20,000 total. In return, I kept a house worth $460,000, my business worth about $800,000, and my dog. Plus, I learned a priceless lesson. Always protect yourself before you need to. Would I do it again? Hell yes. Every single time. Seeing Judge Pacheco's little smile when he realized what I'd done, worth it. Watching Vanessa's face when she realized she was walking away with almost nothing, worth it. Having my house, my dog, and my peace of mind, absolutely priceless. Someone on my original post asked if I felt guilty. Honest answer? Not even a little bit. I didn't cheat. I didn't lie. I didn't break any laws. I just made smart, legal moves to protect what I'd worked for. Vanessa gambled that I'd roll over. She lost. And yeah, I'm happy about that. Life's good now. Business is growing. Brutus just turned 7 and still acts like a puppy. The house will need a new roof next year, but I can afford it. Mom's healthy. My daughters visit often. Some nights I sit on the back deck with a beer, Brutus at my feet, and think about how close I came to losing everything just because my wife decided she deserved it all. Then I remember she's gone. And I'm still here in my house, living my life. That's the real victory. Not the money. Not the assets. The peace. The quiet. The freedom from entitlement. To anyone reading this going through something similar, protect yourself. Don't assume loyalty means anything when money's involved. Get your ducks in a row before you need to. And if you've got a mom like mine who'll help you do it even better. Cheers to being prepared. Cheers to standing up for yourself. And cheers to really good dogs. Time to move on with life.